Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that sparks curiosity and confusion alike. What does it really mean when she touches you lightly? Is it affection, politeness, or something deeper? Stick around as we decode subtle signs and explore human connection through body language. Segment 1. The power of touch in communication. Touch is one of the most powerful forms of nonverbal communication. From a pat on the back to a handshake, it conveys emotion, intent, and sometimes even hidden attraction. When a woman touches you lightly, especially in a casual or recurring manner, it's important to understand the context. Is it in a conversation, during laughter, or just in passing? Light touches can break personal space barriers and signal trust or comfort. This form of communication can be instinctual or deliberate. Understanding it requires attention to her body language, tone, and frequency of touch. Not every touch is romantic, but none are meaningless. We'll begin breaking down different kinds of light touches, what they may mean, and how they fit into broader emotional cues. Whether you're in a budding romance or platonic friendship, knowing these signs helps you respond appropriately and confidently. Segment 2. Accidental or intentional. The first thing to ask, was the touch accidental or intentional? Accidental touches usually happen once and lack eye contact or follow-up gestures. But if she lightly brushes your arm and then looks at you, smiles, or stays engaged, chances are, it wasn't random. Repeated, light touches on the same spot, like your hand or shoulder, often indicate a level of comfort or affection. Intentional touch tends to come with eye contact, open body posture, and often, prolonged interaction. If she maintains a physical connection longer than necessary, like letting her hand linger for a second, that's a subtle but strong cue. Also, consider if she initiates it or only responds when you touch her. These micro moments reveal her comfort level and possible romantic interest. But don't jump to conclusions, context matters. Pay attention to location, timing, and her overall behavior to read the signal correctly. Segment 3. Touching the arm. The arm is one of the most common and socially acceptable places for a light touch. If she taps your arm when laughing or makes a point during conversation, it can be a subconscious way of building rapport. If it's a quick touch with a smile, she might be signaling friendliness or comfort. However, if the touch lingers or happens frequently, especially combined with eye contact and a playful tone, it can be an indication of flirtation. The forearm is a particularly neutral area, and repeated touch here can mean she feels emotionally safe around you. Also note how she reacts if you touch her arm back. Does she pull away or smile and lean in? That's your cue. Remember, one isolated touch isn't enough to draw conclusions, but when repeated in consistent patterns, it speaks volumes about her intentions. Segment 4. Brushing the back. A light touch on the back can carry more weight than you think. While often subtle, this kind of touch usually comes with a hint of care or protective instinct. It may occur as you walk through a doorway or in a crowded space, signaling she wants to guide you or stay connected. If her hand lingers on your lower back, that's often more intimate. However, if it's higher up, like between your shoulder blades, it could simply be a friendly gesture. Still, most people don't touch others' backs unless they feel comfortable with them. The context matters here. Was it part of a group interaction or just between you two? If she's smiling or making eye contact when it happens, it may suggest a stronger emotional connection. It's small but significant. When added to other signals, it can help you decode her true feelings. Segment 5. Leg or knee touches. Now this one gets interesting. Light touches on the leg or knee are less common, and often more intimate. If she touches your knee during a conversation, especially while laughing or leaning in, she's likely testing physical boundaries in a safe way. This kind of touch usually happens in seated settings and often feels deliberate. Look for accompanying signs. Is she making strong eye contact? Smiling warmly? If she rests her hand on your knee, even briefly, it's usually a strong signal of flirtation or deeper emotional interest. However, it's crucial to notice whether the setting allows for natural contact. Tight seating might explain accidental brushes. Also, her body orientation plays a role. If she's facing you directly and leans in when touching, it's more intentional. These moments often signal she's comfortable with closeness and may be exploring emotional or romantic chemistry. Segment 6. Light touches during laughter. Laughter and touch often go hand in hand when chemistry is present. If she frequently touches your arm, shoulder, or knee when laughing, she might be using humor to build closeness. It's a playful way to create shared joy while also bridging the physical gap between you two. These touches are rarely accidental. Instead, they're timed perfectly with laughter, suggesting spontaneity and comfort. When people laugh together, they release endorphins, which build trust and emotional connection. Add a light touch and the bond deepens. It's not just about the touch, it's about how she feels in the moment. If she's laughing freely and initiating light, playful contact, she's likely feeling relaxed and drawn to your presence. Don't ignore these cues. They're often indicators of growing attraction, especially if paired with prolonged eye contact, smiling, and open body language. It's all about emotional resonance. Segment 7. The excuse touch. Some people use subtle excuses to initiate physical contact. She might brush lint off your shirt, adjust your collar, or jokingly poke your arm. These are pretexts to get physically closer without making it obvious. The beauty of the excuse touch is that it offers plausible deniability. It's casual yet meaningful. If she repeatedly finds reasons to touch you, she may be testing your reaction and gauging your comfort level. It's often playful, sometimes nurturing, and usually tells you she's comfortable around you. If she laughs or smiles during the touch, that's another green light. Watch how she behaves with others. If she's touchy with everyone, it might just be her nature. But if you're the only one getting the special treatment, that's a signal. The excuse touch is subtle, but it speaks volumes when it becomes a pattern. Segment 8. Timing and frequency. Understanding the frequency and timing of light touches can clarify their meaning. A one-time touch might be accidental or situational, but if she touches you multiple times during one interaction, or across several encounters, it's likely intentional. The more frequent the touch, the more likely it signals interest or connection. Timing matters too. Does she touch you during moments of emotional vulnerability, laughter, or deep conversation? These are key emotional high points, and touch during these times shows she's engaged and emotionally responsive. Also, note whether she initiates touch first or only reciprocates. If she's the one starting the physical contact, she's likely testing boundaries and comfort zones in a positive way. When touches align with emotional peaks in a conversation, they often signal growing rapport and emotional intimacy. Look for patterns rather than isolated incidents to read the situation clearly. Segment 9. Cultural and personality factors. Not all light touches mean the same thing. Cultural background and personality play huge roles. In some cultures, casual touch is normal even with strangers. In others, it's reserved for close relationships. Similarly, an extroverted, touchy person might naturally reach out more than someone shy or reserved. Always consider how she interacts with others. Does she touch everyone or just you? Context helps determine if her touch is significant. If she's usually reserved but opens up physically around you, it's a strong signal of trust or affection. Conversely, if she's always touchy, her gestures may be habitual rather than meaningful. Personality and upbringing influence how comfortable someone is with touch. So before reading too much into one gesture, look at the whole picture. Her culture, her comfort zone, and how she behaves in different settings. Segment 10. Body orientation and proximity. Touch doesn't happen in isolation. It's tied to body language and proximity. If she's sitting or standing close, with open posture and leaning in, light touches often signal interest. Body orientation, like facing you directly, shows she's engaged. Combine that with casual, frequent touches, and you're likely seeing signs of affection or growing intimacy. If she angles away, crosses her arms, or keeps her distance, a touch might be less meaningful or even accidental. Pay attention to how her feet and torso are positioned. These give away more than just where her hands go. Proximity increases comfort levels and makes touch more likely. When someone likes you, they often reduce personal space. If she stays close, touches you lightly, and maintains eye contact, it usually means she enjoys your presence and is signaling that she feels emotionally safe. Segment 11. Responding to her touch. So how should you respond when she touches you lightly? First, stay relaxed. Tensing up or pulling away might send the wrong message. If the touch feels welcome and you're comfortable, mirror it subtly. A light touch on her arm or a warm smile can confirm mutual interest. But if you're unsure, let the moment pass and observe her next move. Nonverbal cues are a conversation. Responding appropriately keeps the flow going. Be respectful and attentive. If her touches grow more frequent and confident, that's a good sign she's comfortable. But always match her pace. Don't overreact or rush in with physical contact. Let the connection unfold naturally. Reading and responding to touch is about awareness, respect, and presence. When done right, it can deepen emotional connection and create powerful, unspoken chemistry. Segment 12. Hand touches and hand-holding. Touching or holding hands is often a clearer sign of intimacy or emotional connection. If she lightly grazes your fingers or lets her hand linger when passing something, she might be signaling interest. Hand-holding, even briefly, is far more intimate than a touch on the arm or shoulder. Pay attention to how it happens. Was it spontaneous? Was there eye contact? If she initiates hand contact during an emotional or quiet moment, it likely means she trusts you and may be emotionally invested. Even playful games like comparing hand sizes or reading each other's palms are indirect ways to create a physical connection. These subtle signals are often part of growing affection. If she's not pulling away and seems to enjoy the contact, chances are she feels safe and possibly interested in something more than just friendship. Segment 13. Touch paired with eye contact. When light touch is combined with sustained eye contact, the message becomes much clearer. Eye contact reveals emotional engagement, sincerity, and attraction. If she touches you lightly and locks eyes, especially during a pause in conversation, it often signals deep interest. The eyes and hands together can create a strong nonverbal bond. This doesn't mean she's in love, but it does suggest she's fully present and emotionally tuned into you. Watch for the warmth in her gaze. Is it soft, playful, intense? That tone, paired with touch, can indicate emotional openness or flirtation. In contrast, brief or nervous glances might suggest she's still feeling things out. The most telling moments often come in silence, when the conversation pauses, but her touch and gaze remain. That's the sweet spot where emotional and physical chemistry often overlap. Segment 14. Mirror touching. Mirroring is a powerful subconscious behavior where one person mimics another's body language. If you notice that when you touch your face or arm, she does something similar shortly after, she may be mirroring you, a sign of rapport and connection. But mirroring can also happen through touch. For example, if you briefly touch her arm and she later does the same, it can indicate growing trust and comfort. This feedback loop builds intimacy and is a way for two people to align emotionally and physically. It's subtle, often unnoticed, but extremely powerful. In romantic dynamics, mirroring shows that she feels attuned to your vibe. It's not just imitation, it's resonance. If she mirrors your touch, pace, or even breathing during quiet moments, that's your cue that she's feeling emotionally in sync with you. Segment 15. Touch during emotional moments. Touching during vulnerable or emotional conversations has deep significance. If she lightly places a hand on yours when you're sharing something personal, or vice versa, it's more than comfort, it's connection. This kind of touch expresses empathy, support, and often growing affection. Unlike playful touches during laughter, emotional touches are slower, softer, and linger longer. They don't happen randomly, they're thoughtful responses to moments of truth. If she instinctively reaches out when you're down, or touches you during a heart-to-heart conversation, she may be showing that she values your emotional bond. Look at her facial expression when it happens. Is she attentive, serious, or teary-eyed? These signs elevate the touch from casual to meaningful. It shows she's not just physically comfortable with you, she's emotionally invested, and the touch serves as reassurance, grounding, and connection all in one. Segment 16. Touch in public versus private. Where she touches you is as important as how. In private, people often feel freer to express themselves without judgment. So if she touches you lightly or affectionately when alone, it may signal personal trust or emotional intimacy. But if she does it in public, especially around friends or strangers, it can show confidence in your connection. Public touch, like resting a hand on your back, brushing your arm, or standing close, can also be a way of signaling interest to others subtly. However, public context matters. Some people avoid physical contact in public due to shyness or cultural expectations. Observe how her comfort levels change in different environments. If she's consistent, regardless of setting, her behavior likely reflects genuine emotion. But if her physical openness increases in private, it may mean she's still discovering how she feels, and trusts you enough to be vulnerable behind closed doors. Segment 17. Non-romantic comfort touch. Not every light touch is flirtatious. Sometimes, it's simply an expression of comfort or care. If she rubs your shoulder during stress, squeezes your hand when you're nervous, or hugs you briefly after a tough moment, it may be her way of offering support. These gestures often come from a place of empathy. The difference lies in her intention and emotional state. Comfort touches tend to be calm, soft, and accompanied by concerned expressions or soothing words. They aren't playful or flirtatious but nurturing. However, emotional support can be a gateway to deeper intimacy over time. It's all about reading the moment. Does she seem protective, affectionate, or just being a good friend? Don't misinterpret every comforting gesture as romantic, but also dawn. Segment 18. Playful or teasing touch. Playful or teasing touches are usually light, quick, and accompanied by laughter or jokes. Think of a gentle poke, a quick nudge, or even a tap during a funny moment. These gestures are often flirtatious in nature, especially if they come with a cheeky comment or teasing smile. This kind of touch is about testing boundaries in a fun and lighthearted way. It's rarely aggressive or uncomfortable, but instead meant to draw attention and create a fun dynamic. If she teases you physically while laughing and looking directly at you, she may be trying to build chemistry. It's a social cue that says, "I'm comfortable with you, and I enjoy your reaction." Always gauge her reaction and tone. If it feels mutual and energizing, you're probably in playful, flirtatious territory. It's less about romance and more about connection through fun and spontaneity. Segment 19. Touch pauses and withdrawal. Sometimes what she doesn't do can be just as telling. If she suddenly stops touching you after initiating it earlier, she may be recalibrating her comfort zone or second-guessing your reaction. A pause in physical contact doesn't necessarily mean a negative shift, but it could signal hesitation or a desire to slow things down. Look at the timing. Did something change in the conversation? Did your body language shift? If she pulls back after a moment of vulnerability, she might be feeling exposed. Respect that space. It's important to create emotional safety. Similarly, if she withdraws touch completely over time, she may be drawing a boundary, either platonic or emotional. Be mindful, not paranoid. People have moods and comfort zones shift. The key is to stay observant, not reactive. Gentle withdrawal can mean many things, but respect and communication are always the right response. Segment 20. Consistency across interactions. One of the clearest indicators of what her touch means is how consistent it is across different situations and time. Does she touch you similarly every time you meet? Or only during specific emotional states? If her light touches appear regularly, especially when she's relaxed and enjoying your company, it likely signals a natural and positive connection. Consistency over time builds a pattern, and patterns reveal intention. If her behavior is hot and cold, sometimes touchy, sometimes distant, it might mean she's unsure of her feelings or testing boundaries. However, don't base conclusions on isolated incidents. Touch must be interpreted as part of a broader behavioral pattern. Combine what you observe about her body language, tone, and other cues over time. The more consistent her comfort level with touch, the more meaningful it is. Patterns tell you what moments cannot, how she truly feels beneath the surface. Segment 21. When she initiates versus responds. Who initiates the touch matters more than you might think. If she's the one reaching out to you first, on the arm, hand, or shoulder, it often reflects comfort and growing interest. Initiating shows confidence, while responding can be more about politeness or reciprocity. Does she lean in first? Touch you mid-conversation? These moments suggest she feels secure enough to make that move. On the flip side, if she only responds when you initiate touch, she might still be gauging how comfortable she feels with you. It's not a red flag, just a slower pace. Watch for patterns. Does she gradually start to initiate more? If so, that's a positive sign of developing trust. Ultimately, initiation signals emotional agency. If she chooses to reach out first, even subtly, it's often her way of saying, "I want to be close to you." Segment 22. Combining all the cues. Reading light touches is like assembling a puzzle. No single moment can give you the full picture. It's the combination, frequency, type of touch, eye contact, body orientation, timing, and consistency that tells the real story. For example, one touch on the arm might be meaningless, but if it's paired with warm smiles, leaning in, mirroring, and consistent behavior over time, it's likely intentional and emotionally driven. Always read touch in context. Look at how she treats others, what the setting is, and how she reacts when you reciprocate. Human behavior is complex, but our bodies often speak more honestly than our words. Learning to interpret these signs is not about manipulation. It's about understanding, empathy, and emotional awareness. When done respectfully, reading the signs can lead to deeper connection, mutual understanding, and maybe even the beginning of something meaningful. Conclusion. Light touches are far more than physical gestures. They're windows into emotional states, comfort levels, and sometimes even romantic intentions. From a friendly pat to an intimate graze, each touch tells a part of a story. But don't analyze in isolation. Pay attention to the full picture. Her tone, body language, timing, consistency, and most importantly, how you feel in those moments. Respect, awareness, and emotional intelligence are your best tools. Whether you're navigating friendship, dating, or deeper emotional territory, understanding what her touch means helps you communicate better and build more authentic, confident connections. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more insights into relationships, psychology, and body language. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. We love hearing from you.